Hi, my name is Brian Rakovic with Heat Seal and Ampak, located in Cleveland, Ohio, and I am here to show you basic setup and operation of our Thrifty Skin Packaging Machine. First step will be to ensure that the proper power and air are supplied to the machine, and that the breaker is in the on position and the air valve is on the on position, and they are both located on the back side of the machine. Once proper power is supplied to the machine, the yellow power on light should be illuminated. Next step will be loading a roll of film. The simplest way to load the roll of film is to remove the locking collar, slide the roll of film onto the film spindle, insert the cone and lock the locking collar back into position. Something to remember is that if you're using a film that has an adhesive coating on it, make sure that the adhesive coated side is going to be faced down toward the card. To thread the roll of film, simply open the film frame by rotating the handle counterclockwise. The film frame is spring loaded. It will pop open. Then simply run the film down underneath. There is a single idler roller here. Run the film under the idler, and pull it through the film frame. Now we want to make sure that the film is aligned with the machine, and the idea is simply have the edge of the film lined up with the inside edge of the block so that the film is centered on the film frame. You can see in this example, the roll of film is too far to the left, so what I'll do is I'll simply loosen the locking collar, slide the roll over so I have a straight line down to the edge of the film frame, lock that into position, and slide the other collar over and lock that into position, and now your film should be aligned. To finish the threading, simply pull the film through the film frame, making sure it's centered, close and lock the film frame, and the excess film can simply be removed with a razor knife or with the optional electropulse film cutoff. I'll now explain the 4 very simple settings on the machine. First is heat film time. Simply a timer that from the time I just depress the cycle start button and the heaters come on, how long before I drop the film frame. Second is the heat package time, which is how long does the heater stay on after the film frame is dropped. Third setting is cool package time, which is simply how long the vacuum runs. And lastly is the turbine speed, which is simply the speed of the turbine from high to low. There's 3 push button controls. First button is frame down, which is simply a manual means of lowering the frame to the down position. The second button is the frame up button, which again is simply a manual button to raise the frame into the up position. And lastly is the cycle start button, which starts the heating cycle. There is an emergency stop mushroom button that, in the case of emergency, can be pushed and it will kill all power to the machine. To ensure the best skin pack possible, we want to make sure that the film is heated to the right temperature. The simplest way to measure that is by the amount of droop of the film. What happens as the film is actually heated, it will soften and begin to droop. What we're aiming for is about 2 inches of droop below the bottom of the film frame. That's adjusted with your heat film timer. The less time they're in there, the less droop. The more time, the farther the droop. We're going to do a test cycle here to see where our droop is. I'm going to set the heat film timer at approximately 5, the heat package at 5, the cool package at 5, and the turbine speed at approximately 6. So what I'm going to do is when I depress the cycle button, the film will heat, and we'll see how far down our film droops. Now we can see when you saw the film frame drop, the film had really just begun to droop. It had not reached the level that we wanted. In the last cycle, the film did not droop low enough. So what we are going to do is I've actually turned the heat film timer up from 5 to about 7.5. I did actually turn down the heat package timer and the cool package timer as they ran excessively long. So what I'll do now is I'll simply raise the film frame back to the up position and start the heat cycle again. The film is just beginning to sag, or to droop. And you'll see it, you should be able to see it just below the bottom of the film frame. Now we'll show the complete skin packing cycle. What the operator would do is place their board or card on the vacuum platen, then simply place the products to be skin packaged on the board. And the basic rule of thumb is have the products at least half their height away from each other and from the edge of the card. So for example, if you have a product that's 1 inch high, you want to make sure they're at least half an inch apart and half an inch from the edge of the card. I've spaced the product out properly on the board, and now I will hit the cycle start button to begin the heating cycle. What we've shown is a complete vacuum cycle. Now you will note in the vacuum cycle, you heard the popping sounds. That's a good indicator that the vacuum has been turned up too high. So it's actually pulling vacuum through the film and breaks through the film, which you don't want. You normally don't want to hear that popping sound. So we'll run another cycle to show you. We're going to run another cycle now, and I've actually taken turned the turbine speed down to prevent that film from popping. Once the cycle is completed, to remove the finished card, simply, again, rotate the handle counterclockwise. The film frame springs open. Pull the completed card out, lock the film frame down, and then simply remove the finished card with a razor, or it can be cut off with the optional electropulse film cutoff. Now I'm going to show you an example of excess film heating where the heat film timer is set too high. And you'll see the film will actually droop too far and create wrinkles in the film. And you can see at this point the film is starting to droop beyond where typically you would want it. Now I'd like to show you an example of an occurrence where the film was not heated enough. Though the package looks relatively good, you'll notice that the film very easily pulls off the board without any fiber tear, so the products are not held in place very well.